just to pick up on that thread,
Right.
where did your investments in civil rights and social justice, was that something that was for a long time part of your life?
I can't I can't see how I could have possibly avoided it. Um, Having been at the receiving end of discrimination, of persecution, having narrowly escaped being caught up in the disastrous fate that befell so many of my people, um, I couldn't see injustices perpetrated on other people and not do anything about it, not say anything, not yell anything, not sing anything. When I got involved in the civil rights movement in the South, North and South actually, there were Jewish people that I knew who kind of took me to task. Why are you so involved? Huh? Don't we have troubles of our own? When they hit on Jews, that's when you should be involved. I said, you don't understand. You don't understand me. He said, whenever I see an injustice, the victims in my mind become Jews. It's an easy switch. That's true and to this day. To this day. And I don't understand people who think that they have the luxury of not doing anything, of not saying halt. You know, not everybody on our street was a Nazi in Vienna. Obviously not. There were some decent non-Jews, but they also did not call a halt to what was happening around them. And today, even though I have to give them credit for not having participated in the barbaric acts, I can't absolve them entirely of guilt and complicity, because non-action is an act, and silence speaks.
And in terms of specifically being in New York, being in the U.S., visiting the South, and seeing the injustices against African Americans, and also being so exposed to the blues and to African American folk music and spirituals, for you, was there any sensibility of a special relationship between blacks and Jews?
If there wasn't, I created it. I remember singing in black churches, and I would sing a Jewish labor song that in Yiddish that my father had taught me, and I translated it into English, singable English. But it was clearly, a song that says, now awake, the ends in sight, see your power, feel your might, were it not for your strong hand, not a wheel could turn in all the land. Something that they understood readily. It's a Jewish song, sung by crypto-communists in Russia.
Was that a relationship that you think, what's your sense of how that relationship has changed over the years?
It changed with Stokely Carmichael declaring war on Jews. The black anti-Semitism is an anomaly. Jewish racism is an anomaly when it happens. Both exist. Both exist. When Stokely Carmichael, who was the head of SNCC at the time, suddenly decided that all those Jews whose support he had courted before, including me, were really his enemies, and that he had to make common cause with people who made war on Jews, notably those who fought Jews in the Middle East, etc. It was such a shock to my system. But then again, I realized, not every black is a Stokely Carmichael. There were millions of blacks who followed Martin Luther King and his philosophy of nonviolence. And I said, I can make common cause with that and not divorce myself from the civil rights movement, and I've been very involved with SNCC before, simply because that portion of the movement had gone astray. It's easy to find excuses not to do things. It's easy to abscond yourself from the fight. Just as it's easy today to say that because 19 people who bombed two towers in New York were Muslims, who are clearly terrorists, it's easy to say that all Muslims are by definition terrorists. They're not. And you can't say that, and you mustn't say it, and you mustn't believe it. Unfortunately, many, many, many Americans do. It's just like saying that all Jews are Bernie Madoff, and they're not. It's not an easy world to live in. But it's also a world of hope.